Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Shruti Mishra and with me is Arundhati Ramanan. These are the top headlines from the startup space. Trina, a customer communications and intelligence platform, raises $5 million in seed funding round co-led by Lightspeed and first-round capital. The company will use funds to double down on product innovation and expansion.
EvolveX Accelerator, a startup accelerator spearheaded by We Founder Circle, plans to invest in 50 early-stage startups by year-end. The accelerator will invest $20,000 to $30,000 seed funding and empower the startups to raise up to $100,000 during the program.
Nykaa reports a good set in the fourth quarter but sees a quarterly decline on the account of seasonality. Reports a 54% quarterly decline on profits on the back of tax expenses versus credit. Nykaa says consumer pullback in the discretionary spends has had some impact on our fashion business.
ESOPs given to Zomato CEO Deepinder Goyal cost the food tech giant 143 crore rupees in the second half of FY23, according to exchange filings. In addition, ESOPs worth 13.5 crore rupees and 10 lakh rupees were also awarded to senior executives of the company, CFO and company secretary.
Uber announces partnerships with Jio-bp and GMR Green Energy for charging infrastructure. Uber driver partners to get access to Jio-bp charging infrastructure. GMR Green to create bespoke charging facilities for Uber.
Meta suffers a setback as Europe's second top court ruled as illegitimate the EU antitrust watchdog's request for information related to its investigation into Facebook's data and online marketplace. As per Reuters, Meta is considering its options over the court decision.
Well, those were the headlines we've been tracking for you this evening. Good Glam Group-backed Sirona India has acquired Blue, India's first vegan condom brand, in an all-cash deal. Now, with this acquisition, Sirona enters the sexual wellness category. Sirona is a leading femtech brand known for its feminine hygiene products and its period tracker on WhatsApp. To take us through the contours of the deal and to talk about the road ahead, joining me now is the Bajaj co-founder of Sirona and Komal Baldua, founder of Blue. Deep and Komal, welcome to Startup Street. Deep, let me start with you first. Like I mentioned earlier, it's an all-cash deal and 100% acquisition. So tell us what stood out for you in Blue and what is the big impact you hope to make in the sexual wellness category with this acquisition, of course.
Well, I think for us, at Sirona, we are known for solving unaddressed intermittent menstrual hygiene needs with unique products. And in a category like sexual wellness, we didn't have our presence so far. And I followed, Komal's journey for the last 3 years, and I think she's been doing a great job when it comes to looking at this category from a woman's point of view, which is something which is very core to the way Sirona operates. So the minute we knew that she was open for a collaboration, it was one of the happiest days for us. So we decided to go forward and bring Blue in, which now completes the Sirona's journey, where we want to solve problems that women face right from puberty to menopause. So sexual wellness gets covered.
Okay. Komal, does Blue run as an independent entity now? What happens to your team? And also, what does it mean to be now part of Sirona and the Good Glam Group?
Hi, thanks for asking us to come over here. So Blue is now a part of Sirona Good Glam Group. Me and my team will always be standing with Blue and handholding them. I will be handholding it for a few months. The offer by Deep has always been there for the team to join in the Sirona team, but because of the logistic issues, they may decide not to. But as Blue is based out of Hyderabad, I'm very happy to be a part of Sirona Good Glam Group and looking forward for Blue being a 100 crore brand soon.
All right, Deep, like I mentioned earlier, it's an all-cash deal, but can you tell us how much was it, an approximate figure?
Just let us come back to you in 3 years when you're doing 100 crores revenue.
Okay,
right now,
all
we're
right.
not disclosing the amounts.
Okay. Komal, talk to us about your range of vegan condoms. How does Blue differentiate itself in this category?
So we launched India's first vegan condom, addressing the issues of the women partners along with the men. Currently, Blue has 4 variants. We were the first one to launch India's first uniquely shaped spiral condoms, which is one of the baggy-shaped condom. And at Blue, we are also the first one to talk about the ingredient that goes inside the condom manufacturing and the implications onto the bodies, or specifically to the women partners. We are also the first time condom brand to talk to and be focused about the women health. Being a first D2C brand, we spoke directly to the women and resolved their unspoken issues.
Okay. Komal, also, if you could take me through Blue's current business growth numbers and the reach and, what are your top markets?
So I am not sure that I can really discuss about the numbers because of the agreement that we've signed. So you'll have to answer this question.
Okay. And what about your reach? What markets are you currently in?
So we are there in the top cities, the main presence is there in Bombay, Bangalore. Our city would be more Delhi. So top tier.
So the metros.
Yeah, the metros.
Sure. All right. Deep, coming back to you, you plan to grow Blue's business 10x on the marketplace and direct to consumer and make it a 100 crore rupee brand by next year, contributing to 15 to 20% of the overall sales of Sirona. So can you tell us how do you hope to achieve this target and, where do you see the next leg of growth coming from?
Well, we believe initially in the first leg, we'd go with the lowest hanging fruit and areas which are of strength to Sirona. We are strong in the marketplace business and the D2B business. So this year will be about growing the business there. And with the Good Glams group offline might, we also wish to take the brand to offline stores. So I think, but that'll happen towards the second half of this year. So that's the plan for us.
All right. Deep, we've seen a homegrown brand like, Mankind Pharma go public this year as it takes on the big boys in the space. Now, do you see these large players also entering the vegan vertical? And how prepared are, the both of you to deal with competition?
Well, I'd say I'll be happy if they get in. It's an unmet need. And a very big one. So far condoms have been made keeping men's needs in mind.
Yes.
This is the first brand which is looking at what is lacking in the category from the woman's point of view. So, and it's about time that everybody has a range which works for women. And I think that's what we've been talking at Sirona for every product, whether toilet or intimate, that so far many solutions have been built by men, but without keep taking into cognizance what women need. So if they come into the category, I'm sure the category will grow and we are looking forward to it.
Okay.
As far as we are concerned, we wish to build it, keeping the same ethos in which we built Sirona. Talk about the issues, break the taboo, educate the community, educate people about what is lacking in the current solutions that you're using and get them to switch.
Okay. Deep, Sirona entered the women's safety segment with the acquisition of Empower in an all-cash deal. And now with Blue's acquisition, you've also forayed into the sexual wellness category. So what's more in the pipeline? Any new categories that you're looking at?
Not really. I think we would want to stay focused on the segments where we already are, right from puberty to menopause. We are into toilet hygiene with P-Buddy, which is India's first stand-in pee device for women, and it has toilet seat covers and deodorizers. Sirona pretty much looks at all period-related issues. Blue brings in the much-required presence for Sirona in the sexual wellness category from women's point of view, and Empower shall continue to keep them safe. So I think we are good right now, but yes, if a good opportunity comes in, why not?
Okay. Deep, for Sirona, what is the road to profitability looking like? If you could, again, take me through the current revenue numbers and the future growth targets that you have with Sirona.
I believe this year, anywhere between 150 to 180 crores, we should definitely do.
Okay.
As a brand, initially in the first few years only, we were back-to-back profitable for 3, consecutive years. And just last couple of years, because we went into offline expansion and a couple of strategic acquisitions we made, that's the reason why we are a little bit in red. But I believe by the end of this year, we should be back. But right now, also, whatever order we ship out, CM2 positive. And that's the plan to ensure that every channel becomes profitable by the end of this financial year.
All right. One final question for Komal. Komal, what's in the pipeline? What can we expect from Blue in the near future?
So, of course, now Blue is in the hands of, under the guidance of Deep and Sirona and Good Glam Group. And of course, I'm hoping that it should be a 100 crore brand soon.
Okay. Okay, all right. Many thanks, Komal and Deep, for joining us on the show today. We wish you the very best of luck for all your growth plans.
Thank you.
Thank you for always being there for startup.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Now, leading customer communication and intelligence platform Theena has bagged $5 million in a seed round. The round was co-led by Lightspeed and First Round Capital. Theena's product enables messaging platforms like Slack to be used at scale for B2B customer communications and solves for their biggest pain points. Theena, which was founded only last year in April, plans to use the funds to scale its product and hire talent. Joining us now is Ankit Saxena, the CEO and co-founder of Theena. Ankit, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today. Like I said, you help businesses manage customers on messaging platforms like Slack. So talk to us about the pain point that you're currently addressing, and how are you using AI to help manage customers in a more efficient manner? Give us some use cases. Ankit, I think you're on mute.
First, thank you for having me on the show.
We can hear you now, yeah.
Cool. So the biggest pain point that we are solving for our customers is around scale. Some of our customers have hundreds of customer Slack channels, which keep on ringing throughout the day. So our AI app sits on those Slack channels and monitors the customer communication. And when we detect whether a customer message is a request, we try and categorize that, around urgency, what is the sentiment of that request. And then based on some rules that are set by the customer teams, there are workflows that get triggered. So to give you an example, a customer message might come in, and then we would put a title to it, summarize that particular conversation on the Slack thread. And if it is, let's say, a negative sentiment request with a high urgency, it can then get routed differently to a different team. If there are other system of records or other tools that the team uses currently for supporting those customers like Zendesk or Jira, our tool can automatically bidirectionally connect that particular Slack thread with those tools. So essentially around managing scale and then orchestrating these bidirectional workflows within Slack.
Sort of explain to us how that works. And you've raised this money, and scaling your product and recruiting talent is top priority. So is that where most of your funds will go? What's the fund allocation plan at this point?
At this point of time, we're really looking to scale our GTM efforts in the US. That is where 80% of our market is. And so almost we plan to deploy 70% of that money in scaling up our GTM motions in the US, and the rest 30% in scaling up our AI research and our product development in India.
All right. So you said 80% of your business is coming from the US market. So is there a big India opportunity here? Talk to us about the product that you have on offer, any new ones in the pipeline. So give us a sense of the demand. Like you said, US is top. So what's the India opportunity, and what are the kind of clients you're catering to?
India is a big opportunity. The number of B2B businesses growing in India, has just taken up a massive uplift over the past few years. We work with some of the top and the fastest growing startups in India, like SpotDraft, Slurry, and other new and upcoming ones, who are all modern teams, and they want to serve their customers on these messaging platforms, given that these are more efficient and help you build better relationships with your customers. I think over the next 4 to 5 years, the split will definitely change. Customers in India, I think we'll see a lot of growth in India, but right now the focus is in the US, and over the next few years, the split of that pie will change.
All right, so the split of the pie will change. And talk to us about some of the clients that you're catering to. What are the kind of clients you're catering to?
Right now, these are fast-growing modern companies who are probably from Series A to Series D, Series E stage. These are modern teams that want to serve their customers over messaging platforms. Just to name some, we've got big brands like Mixpanel and Branch and Guru in the US. And then, as I mentioned, in India, we've got SpotDraft, Slurry, SpendFlows, and some other fast-growing startups.
All right. Also, let's talk numbers then. Talk to us about your revenues. You only launched last year. So what are you currently clocking? What are the targets? What's profitability looking like at this point?
It's too early. We started selling in Q4 of last year. We saw a massive inflection point in Q1, wherein we almost 10x our revenue in a quarter. It's still early. We are to predict revenue or forecast. While we know that the opportunity is big, we want to be cautious about how we are scaling and that we are building the right products for the future. So a lot of focus is in finding that balance of innovation and profitability. Right now, we are not optimizing for operational efficiency, but And some early numbers that we are seeing in terms of our CAC to LTV ratios and things like that, they look really good.
And what are the targets that you've set for yourself for next year?
We want to close, in terms of revenue, probably hit a $5 million mark in revenues by next year. But having said that, that is not a key piece that we are optimizing for right now.
All right. Also, we're clearly seeing this massive shift within organizations from emails to messaging platforms, and you essentially bridge that gap between the firm and the messaging app. So how big is this opportunity and what's the potential?
It's a big opportunity because of this shift which is happening from emails to messaging, and also all the innovation which is happening in the AI space. When you combine both of them together, it's the perfect recipe to disrupt all the email-based tools and system of records that were built over the past 15-20 years. Just in AI automation alone, I think it's around $15 billion market over the next 3 to 4 years. So the opportunity is massive.
All right, so it is a massive opportunity. All right, Ankit, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on. Green Cell Mobility is on a mission to break stereotypes by helping women with roles that are traditionally dominated by men. The shared electric mobility startup has recently flagged off an all-female intercity electric bus. Danish Anand reports on how the company plans to empower women with this initiative. Take a look.
Indian shared electric mobility startup Green Cell Mobility has made it to the record books by flagging off an all-female intercity electric bus, a first of its kind according to the company. Flagged off from Delhi's ISBT, the bus was driven to Agra by a woman. The entire support staff, comprising of over 3 people, was also all women, and over 20 female passengers were also on board. Coach Captain Sumitra says this was a big milestone not just for women but for her personally, as she had to struggle to persuade her family to get on board with her aspirations.
पहले तो घर से ही चैलेंज होता हमारे लिए, ठीक है, और पहले तो घर वाले कहते हैं कि गाड़ी चलाओगी तुम लोग, ठोक दोगी, ये कर दोगी, वो कर दोगी, मतलब काफ़ी घर से ही सुनने को मिलता है। आस पड़ोस वाले भी काफ़ी कुछ बोलते हैं। फिर रोड पे चलते के साथ ड्राइवर्स बोलते हैं कि अब तो ये हमारे पेट पे लात मार रही हैं। घर वालों का मनाना आसान नहीं था सर, बहुत मुश्किल था, बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल। बस ये है कि मुझे करना है तो करना है। आपको जो अच्छा लगता है, जो ठीक लगता है वो करो। आप पीछे वाली की मत सुनो, सामने वालों की मत सुनो, साइड वालों की बिल्कुल ही मत सुनो।
Green Cell Mobility says this is just the beginning and hopes to do more to help women break into roles traditionally dominated by men.
The whole idea is to give more and more chances and increase our fleet where more women participation and inclusion is there. People go through extensive training. We are one of those companies who have simulators. People go through simulation and simulators. Then they go through actual empty bus driving for some time to make sure that they have minimum number of hours logged in, so they are able to take this bus. So these are trained people, and I have no doubt they'll do a good job. So we will have the coach captain and the host, which will be women, but passengers can be all kinds.
Intensive training apart, the company says security is of paramount concern, especially given to the all-women nature of the crew. So, the buses come equipped with 6 onboard cameras, live monitoring capabilities, sensors and over 25 technical checks. She believes she achieves, well, this is the tagline of this all-electric, all-women bus, and this has happened for the first time ever in India, in which we are seeing that an all-women crew will be taking just women passengers from Delhi to Agra in this electric bus. Well, in the long run, the company Nugo plans to introduce more and more services, and it also plans in the long run to give more and more employment to the female employees, and the company in the future will always also ensure that more and more women are brought in this profession and they are well and properly trained. With video journalist Lakshman Singh, this is Danish Anand for CNBC TV 18.
So that's Green Cell Mobility's all-female intercity bus. But on that note, it is time for us to end the show. From Shruti and me, goodbye and many thanks for watching.